Day 2 of cracking the high performance code. Okay, yesterday we jumped into several different things around a wheel of life exercise. Like I told you, normally when I am doing workshops or when I'm working with clients, I break this into a whole bunch of slices of the pie. But we looked at 5. We looked at wealth, we looked at health, we looked at career, we looked at relationships, and we looked at spirituality. And you measured yourself in each of those areas. And if you haven't yet done that, you still have time. Okay, you still have time. Today, we're going to build on top of that. We also went into the several questions to ask yourself about where you currently are. And today, we're going to get even deeper into what is it that allows people to actually step into this high performance piece, particularly looking at it from the goal setting, the vision casting, the dream setting, right? And being able to achieve. That's the difference, because we can all set goals. We can all set dreams. We can all have visions and all this kind of stuff. What is it that sets people apart? And we're going to get into more of that today. So who am I? What do I know about all of this? I am Angela W. Stillwell. I am the creator, founder, and CEO of Untapped Strengths. And I work with individuals to transform them into the top 1% of leaders. And I work with teams to transform them into powerhouses. Now, I've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I've worked with organizations that we've heard a lot about over the last few years. I've spoken on their stages. I've done workshops for them. And so I've studied a lot of this. What is it that makes their high performers really be able to step in to that, taking action, really becoming a high performer? And I've lived it myself. I spent years where I was totally dependent on my dysfunctional childhood. That was defining where I was going. Now, as a kid, I didn't do that. Somewhere along the way, I learned to start doing that. When I was a little child, I was spunky and head on, and you couldn't stop me. And I felt like I was still doing that as I got older. But what I realized when I was going through my divorce was that a lot of my past was still dictating my future. And we don't have to do that. Once I figured that out, boy, was it a game changer. And what I want to do is help you be that. I want to be that game changer for you. I want you to have those game changing shifts and transformations so that you don't have to spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I did. Yeah, you heard that number right. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Therapy, courses, coaching, all sorts of things in order to figure out what was it that kept me circling, that kept me bumping up against a ceiling. Okay. You don't have to do that though, because I'm sharing with you. All right. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking backward so that we can go forward just a little bit, because like I said yesterday, there's nothing back there that can truly impact where you're going, except that the lessons that you gained. Okay. So we're going to look back, but we're not going to use that to define where we're going. We're going to look back to get the lessons, to glean the lessons so that we are now recognizing it. If you were with me yesterday, or if you want to watch the replay, it's still up for a couple more days. Go back and listen. See, our brains are designed to survive, not to thrive. And so things that happen to us over and over and over again become automatic thoughts, become the meaning behind different scenarios and situations. And so when we are living and operating from that place, that's how our brains do. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is operating exactly the way it's supposed to. However, high performers figure out a way to crack that. High performers have a code that they get into so that that past is no longer defining where they're going. All right, so let's dive into looking backward to going forward. I have a workbook that I use when when I am doing a workshop on this, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that workshop later today. But right now, I'm going to be referring to the workbook because there's some great stuff in here, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. We won't be able to go as deep as we do in the workshop. However, I want to give you what you need to make some major shifts and how you're going about being the person that you know you're meant to be, that I know you're meant to be. See, I'm an advocate for my clients. I'm an advocate for my family. I've been being an advocate since I was a little bitty kid. And I realized how this advocacy aspect has played out in my life. I realized that actually not too long ago. And I knew that I had always been the person who was the go-to. I was the rock. I've been the person that people have come to my whole entire life. And so that was like a normal transition into coaching, into doing leadership development workshops, and to speaking on leadership development and motivation and inspiration and that sort of thing. So it's always been a part of me, but this advocacy piece, let me be an advocate for your dreams and goals. Let me do that for you. So you ready to dive in? All right, looking backward to go forward. So when you look back over this last year, what are you most proud of? Now, listen, you're going to be able to take these questions and dig deeper into them. So I'm going to share several questions just like I did yesterday. And again, if you haven't watched yesterday, you need to go back and watch yesterday so that today makes more sense, because what we're doing right now is going to build on top of what we did yesterday. I'll tie it all together in just a minute. So looking back over this last year, what are you most proud of? Now, if you have voices coming up in your head that's saying, I'm not proud of anything that I did last year. Okay, write that down. Write that down. Is that true though? Is there really nothing in the whole year that you're proud of? And I have had people who have told me, I don't have anything that I'm proud of. Nothing. And I have to kindly and not so gently remind them that there is something. We just get to dig a little deeper. So what is it over the last year that you've been most proud of? Okay. And again, if you're hearing anything else come up, jot that down. I want you to start recognizing this voice, because it's this voice that's impacting you, and it will continue to stop you for the rest of your life if you don't do something about it right now. Okay. All right. Second question. And this one is always so much easier for people to answer. What are you least proud of? And what would you change if you could? Gosh, you guys, it's so easy for us to name the negative. It's so easy for us to name what we don't want. And guess what? Our brains, the way that everything works, you get more of that when that's where you focus. Where your energy goes, well, where your focus goes, energy flows. Probably heard that sometime. Tony Robbins uses it a lot. And that particular quote comes out in several different ways. As a man thinketh, right? It's been something that's been talked about throughout the ages. So what you focus on is what you're going to get more of. So what is it that you were least proud of? And what would you change if you could? First question was, what are you most proud of? Second question, what are you least proud of? And what would you change if you could? Now, what if this pattern of what you're least proud of, what if this pattern continues? What does that look like? What does your life look like in a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? If this pattern of yours continues, if you continue not achieving your goals, if you continue to miss the mark, if you continue to do that and you don't make adjustments, what is your life going to look like? Don't hate me. I'm just asking questions. Excuse me. Oh, getting all choked up here. And of course, I don't have my water right here with me. Okay, reality is this is how it goes, right? I start choking in the middle of a lie. That's perfect. All right, so the next question is designing a 10 out of 10 life. What does that look like? So imagine your 10 out of 10 life. What does it look like? What gets created? Who and how are you being? Not what are you doing? Who and how are you being? And when you work on this is something that you get to create over and over and over again. You get to give more depth to. This is not a one and done. This is not something that you will do just in a 2-minute time frame or 3-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame, or anything like that. This is going to be a document that you get to keep working on for life. For life. Remember when we were looking at the Wheel of Life, we measured from 1 to 10. What would it look like if every area of your life was kicking out at a 10 over and over and over again? What would your day look like? What would your week look like? Your month, your year, the rest of your life? What is the legacy you would leave behind if you had a 10 out of 10 life? What would that look like? And as you're thinking about this and you're listening to me talk about it, again, I want you to become aware of anything that you are saying that goes against what I'm saying. If you are saying to yourself, well, there's no way I'm ever going to have a 10 out of 10 year, a 10 out of 10 life, it's just not going to happen. That doesn't work for me. If you're saying that, write it down, pen and paper, write it down. What are the exact words that you're saying to yourself? This is important. This is super, super important. You want to know how to crack the high performance code? I'm giving it to you right now. I'm giving it to you right now. I want you to hear, what are the voices that you're saying? What are the voices saying to you right now when we talk about this 10 out of 10 life? You think you can't achieve it? People do. People work toward it every day. So what's coming up for you? All right. So I want to move into the next set of questions. You're going to be able to go back and do more work on these. And I encourage you, go back and do more work on these. And listen, I don't want you writing this, typing this out on your laptops or on your tablets or anything like that. I want you writing pen and paper. And there's a reason for that. It's the way that it impacts your brain and how your brain absorbs it and reacts to it, etc. Okay. I know. So many of you want to do everything on your computer, and I totally get it. But just please do this for me. Do this for you. Do it on pen and paper. Allow that creative aspect that happens when your hand is holding the pen or the pencil and it touches the paper and it starts creating. It's different. Brain scans show it's different than when you create by typing on your keyboard. Okay. So if you're doing this on your keyboard, I want you to do it on pen and paper. You can switch after we're done today, right? You can go back and do this again on pen and paper if you'd like. All right. So here's looking at you. Let's dive in. Where is my next level of engagement and intensity of focus inconsistent? Where is my level of engagement and intensity of focus inconsistent with my 10 out of 10 life? Remember those voices that were coming up when I was talking about the 10 out of 10 life, the things that you were saying to yourself? Those are inconsistencies. What else is inconsistent that maybe didn't come up right away? Maybe you're wanting to have super boundless energy and you know you don't have it. Remember that health number you had that you gave yourself? What was that number? If it wasn't a 10, where are you inconsistent? If your wealth isn't at a 10, where are you inconsistent? Are you spending money that you shouldn't be spending or that you could be saving? And I don't like using the word should because everybody has a different situation, right? What, though, could you be doing differently? Where are your actions inconsistent with what your goals are, with what your dreams are, with what your vision is? Okay. Here's another question, and you're going to wonder what in the heck this has to do with what we're talking about. It's around integrity. How do you define integrity? How do you define integrity? What does it mean to you? What role does it play in your life? Integrity. I want you to think about that. What is the role that integrity plays in your life? Everybody loves to think that they are in integrity or that they are integrous, right? What does that mean to you? What does that look like? If you were 100% in integrity, what would that look like? So, what needs to happen for you to truly be in integrity? What needs to happen for you to truly be in integrity? What needs to shift? I'm going to tell you that there are definitely some places in my life that continue to get to shift. They get to shift. It's not they should shift, they get to shift. I have the power to shift them. You have the power to shift them. You do. Remember yesterday we were talking about the blame and the shame and all that kind of stuff? You have the power. It's not anybody else that has the power over you. It's not the story that anyone told you. It's not the meaning that you've given anything. You actually have the power. You just have to choose to implement it. Okay? There's a quote. It's on my wall right here. I'm going to read it to you. It's from James Clear's Atomic Habits. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. Your clutter is a lagging measure of your cleaning habits. You get what you repeat. And that's what I'm talking about today. Where you are today is a lagging measure of what you've done up to this point. You say you want to do something different. What are you truly doing different? And are you taking that next piece to really be able to do something different? Are you taking those thoughts captive? As a man thinketh. Look, that's not just some BS that somebody said along the way. You literally can take your thoughts captive. You literally can shift the thoughts that have been up to this point driving over 90% of your decisions, actions, and results. What gets to shift? If doubt, shame, blame, and guilt have been part of what's been driving you, you get to shift that. And the only way that it gets shifted is for you to choose to do it. Okay? All right. So there's a lot more to what would typically happen on day 2 of the in-depth workshop that I do. And I'm going to be doing that workshop over several weeks starting next week. And I would love for you to join me. If you're interested in joining me and you want to sign up, you can go to the link tree that is there on the screen, the link that's on the screen. If you look just below my name, you'll see Untapped Strengths, and then you see linktree/AW Stillwell, linktr.ee/AW Stillwell. And when you go to that link, you're going to see a link that says Untapped Planning. I want you to go there. I want you to go there so that you can get signed up to be part of the workshop they're going to be doing. All right. So let me, I want to give you a few things on what's going to be happening in that workshop. Okay. So in this workshop, it's going to be over 3 weeks. And we're going to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 3 weeks. We're going to create and launch your dreams, goals, and visions. Now, who is this for? Who is this for? It is for the high performers. The high performers who are completely over the pitch that everyone seems to have out there. How many Facebook ads have you seen? How many things when you Google certain things, or the ads on YouTube or whatever, that say, I can get you to 6 or 7 figures by giving you the exact blueprint that I used? You guys, that's BS. There is nuance in every single person's way of being, and the business that you're in. There is no exact blueprint to do this. There is no exact blueprint to do this. If you are over that, this workshop is for you. If you've been struggling to stay focused while trying to do it all, this workshop that starts next week is for you. If you are trying to put together the 500-piece life puzzle and you don't even have a picture of what it's supposed to look like, this workshop is for you. Because what we're going to do, like we've been doing yesterday, today, and what we're going to do more of tomorrow, is work on your goals and dreams. What is it that's stopping you? It's not the same thing for every person. We get in and see what it is that's impacting you. What are your brake pedals? What are your thoughts that are halting your forward progress? It's different for everyone. So when people say that they can give you, just use the plan that they used, great. Yes, there are places where systems can work, but they're nuanced. There's nuances. It's not a one size fits all. It just isn't. It just isn't. So what I want to do is help you figure out, what are those nuances for you? What are the stories that have been impacting you? Right? This will be the first, last, and only planning process and system that you will ever need. I promise you. I have taken all of these different goal setting and planning and planners. You guys, I am a planner hoarder. Do I have any other planner hoarders out there? And guess what? I haven't been able to find a single one that has all of these pieces in it. I probably need to create one. Instead, what I've created is this workshop, because there's more that goes into it than just the planner itself. All right. And of course, my dog is barking in the background. That's the way this works, right? When you work from home, you have dogs, you have children, they bark in the background. So this workshop that starts next week, that starts next Tuesday, it's going to help you develop your clear vision, your clear goals, your clear processes, a clear idea of what has been stopping you, so that you can make the shifts that are needed, so that you can change the thoughts that have been impacting 90+% of your decisions, of your actions, and your results. It's the way the brain works. It's neuroscience. I'm not going to dig into that right now. In the workshop, I dig more into it so that you better understand it. Just know that your subconscious brain that is holding on to these thoughts that I keep bringing up, it drives 90+% of every thought, decision, action, and result that you get. Isn't it time for you to be able to recognize those so that you can decide, do I want to keep those? Are they my truth? Do I want to shift them? Do I get to shift them? Isn't it time? Let me tell you, when I took the reins and I figured that out, and believe me, I mean, stuff still comes up. I still hear stories. The difference is now I'm able to recognize them and work on them to make the shift, so that I can write a new story, so that I can build a new belief, so that I can then go, oh, this has been stopping me and I don't want it to stop me anymore. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Because if you're a high performer, My guess is you are. There's some area of your life that isn't where you want it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on here. You wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't have been on my page probably. Because this is what I speak to. This is what I work to. I have yet to meet a person who doesn't have something come up at least periodically that's impacting them. I hear people say things all the time, and my coaching and consulting brain clicks on the vast majority of the time. I don't bring it up. I don't even mention it. I may just do like a quick, oh, is that true? And then let it go. Because, most of the people that are around me they're not asking for my coaching. They're not asking for my consulting. They're not paying for it. They're not taking part in it. I just am like, oh, is that true? And then let it go. All right. So if you're ready to achieve at a greater level than ever before, this is for you. So go to the link and get signed up. Create your dream and goals list. That's one of the first things that we're going to do. Know the impact that you'll be able to make. Achieve like you've never been able to achieve before. You're going to go from, how many of you have ever felt unfulfilled? How about overwhelmed? Ever been overwhelmed? Look, there are still times when I'm like, holy cow, I'm just overwhelmed. There's too much going on. And then I have to remember, oh, no. What's that about? And then I figure it out and I get rid of that feeling of overwhelm. I replace it with something that supports me. A feeling of overwhelm does not support you. When you start feeling overwhelmed, how do you feel? You just kind of, the brakes come on, right? You stop. I don't want you stopping. And my guess is you don't want to be stopping. However, when you're in that place of overwhelm, when you're in that place of frustration, when you're in that place of being overworked and you've been unable to focus and be productive, so often we quit. We walk away. We burn out. We don't operate at the level that we know we're capable of operating. We keep hearing in the corporate realm about quiet quitting. This is what quiet quitting looks like. People get frustrated. They get tired. They get overwhelmed. And the stories start building. Listen, you guys, one of the clients, one of the organizations that I've done a lot of training in and speaking at their organization, the mindset of the people there, I would have these conversations with them, or I'd be in these training classes, or I'd be doing these coaching calls with them. And I would talk about, hey, what is it that you want to do next? And they're like, well, I want to do X, Y, Z. And I can't because I'm being blocked by so-and-so. And it always amazed me. That they never even thought about the box that they were putting themselves in. Never realized it. And when I would shine a light on that box, I'd go like, hey, look, see this box you've put yourself in? It doesn't exist. There's a whole life out here. So many people are operating as if someone has put them in a box. Do you want to keep operating like that? Do you want to keep operating and thinking and behaving and taking action as if you are inside this box? If you don't, then click the link. Let's get signed up. Join the workshop starting next Tuesday. It's going to be at noon, and there'll be recordings. So if you can't make it live, you'll get the recordings. Okay. So on Tuesdays for 3 weeks, we're going to do workshopping, training, and really digging into the workbook that you're going to get. And and really getting deeper into the concepts that we talked about yesterday, and that we're talking about today, and that we're talking about tomorrow. We're going to dig deeper into those. And then on Thursday, next Thursday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, will be our first Q&A and hot seat coaching day. Okay. Again, at noon, starting at noon. We will do that the next 3 Thursdays after that. So Tuesdays are going to be the workshopping. Thursdays are going to be the Q&A and hot seat coaching, and give you time to do more work in between the next week's class. Okay. All right. So go to linktree/AW Stillwell and get yourself signed up. All right. Let's go back to the training today. So what are the difficult conversations you get to have with yourself, with others, so that you can get to your 10 out of 10 life? Maybe one of those difficult conversations is, do I want to spend the money to do this workshop? That may come up. And when it does, you get to have a difficult conversation around it. Do you want to make the shift or not? This is a small amount to make an investment in yourself and your future, your dreams, your goals, and your visions. And I can't wait to see you in the workshop. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I will see you tomorrow, Thursday, for day 3 of cracking the high performance code. We will see you at noon Eastern, and we will dive deeper into this process. And so be prepared, come with your pen and paper. And if you haven't yet watched day 1, go watch the recording. It's only going to be up for a few more days, probably till the end of the week. So, and then I'm going to take it down. So get signed up for this. And if you sign up, when you sign up for the actual workshop for next week, you'll get the recordings from this week as well. Okay. And there's going to be some additional bonuses when you sign up too. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 3 of cracking the high performance code. Have a great day.